Good morning, students. In the previous videos, we have discussed one another application of Biot-Savart's law to find magnetic field at the center of circular loop carrying current. Now, today we will discuss magnetic field at a point on the axis of circular current carrying coil. So here, let me consider a circular coil perpendicular to plane of paper. If you remember, such kind of concept we have done in electrostatic also to find electric field at axis of circular loop carrying current. This derivation will be almost similar to that concept. So you can correlate these two relations. If you have clarity at that point, then you will easily understand this. So consider a circular coil of radius A and center O, and this plane of the coil is kept perpendicular. Like we can say this is a loop, this is held perpendicular to the plane of the coil. We are not taking along this direction, we are taking it perpendicular. So now let I is the current flowing through this circular loop. So we have taken a point P. Let me take a point P distant x from the center where we have to calculate magnetic field. So let me join it. This OP, this distance is x. So here you can take this radius is A representing by here OC, and this OP distance is x. So now another very important point, as if we take that this is a C point. See, if we are taking, suppose you can imagine this situation, suppose this is a circular loop here, because we cannot show the perpendicular view, but we can show as this is a center and the point is lying somewhere here at certain distance from the center. So a point, let this point C, if from this C point, if we'll join this point P, that line will be perpendicular to this element. If I will take a line perpendicular like this, if we have, so if this is the element and the point is here, suppose here, so if I will join this line at this point, you can see that this tangent is perpendicular to this line along which we are taking the measurement. So basically, if I will join C to P, so here this CP will be perpendicular to this small element along this length. Why? Because here this element will be along this direction and this element will be like this. You can see these two are perpendicular. So here you will see this CP will be equal to, so this will be angle 90 degree. Actually this element and this perpendicular line, this will be perpendicular like this. So this will be right angle triangle. So here by applying Pythagoras theorem, CP will come out to be under root of x square plus a square. I think I have already explained this concept in electrostatics, so you will not face any problem here. Now, as this loop consisting of large number of elements, current element, let one such element at point C. So let this element is DL, and at one element is at point D. This is also of length DL. These two are lying at diametrically opposite ends. So first of all, we will calculate magnetic field at P due to length element situated at point C, and later on magnetic field due to element situated at point D. So now magnetic field at P due to small element at C, it will be mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r squared. This is the basic Biot-Savart's law. Theta here is 90 degree. Angle between this length element dl and CP, that is taken as distance. You can take it as r. So now here it is mu naught I dl upon 4 pi r square. You can substitute its value later on. Now, what will be the direction of magnetic field? See, if I will write it in the cross product, you can simply understood its direction, that here magnetic field will be perpendicular to the plane containing dl and r. So if I will take vector product rule, and if we take the vector dl to r, dl is here, r is here, this is r. So I will take the direction by taking, see, one vector is along this direction dl and r is perpendicular to it. So dl to r, if I will apply right hand thumb rule, then direction of magnetic field is directed upward. So how you will represent it? Let this will be dB. This will be perpendicular to plane containing dl and r. So if this angle is phi and this perpendicular to this is this one, and for this perpendicular is this one, so this angle between two lines is same as angle between their perpendiculars, right? So now here direction of magnetic field we have obtained. So now what should be the concept? The direction of magnetic field that will be perpendicular to the plane containing dl and r, and it will be directed upward. So now similarly magnetic field, you can write it as it is directed upward or outward also you can write. Now magnetic field at P due to element situated at point D, again it will have the same formula. Why? Because here you can see this dl element and this distance r, again following the same rule, this will be perpendicular and direction will be always as dl. If you are taking dl along this direction and r, so dl to r, the magnetic field will be directed along this direction. Here in this case it was upward, but in this case it will be downward. So again following the same point, this angle will be phi, because they are diametrically opposite ends, so the angles will be equal. So now it will be downward. So you can see here that angle theta is 90 degree. So dB dash is mu naught I dl upon 4 pi I square, and it is directed downward. So from here what we are concluding? That this magnitude of dB and dB dash, that is magnetic field due to element at C and D, both magnitude are identical. So now here what we will do in the next step? So here we will resolve this dB and dB dash into rectangular components. So here this is the base angle, so its component will be cos component, dB cos phi. Another component along this axis, this is dB sin phi. Similarly dB dash, when we will resolve, this is dB dash cos phi, and along horizontal axis it will be dB dash sin phi. So what we are getting? As the magnitude of magnetic field is same, phi angle is same, so what will happen? These vertical components cancel out. So you can write that on resolving, dB cos phi and dB dash cos phi cancel out each other. These two cancel out each other. So what is the magnetic field left? Which is added dB sin phi and dB dash sin phi. You can take, this is acting along the x-axis. OX you can say, because I can write it as OX, or along x-axis. So now due to this diametrically opposite ends, we are left with these two components. So it means if we imagine another pair of diametrically opposite components, elements, then you can see that magnetic field will all due to sine component and their cos components are cancelling each other. So what will be the total magnetic field at point P due to the entire circular loop? It can be obtained by integrating one of the sine component. See, we are not taking 2 dB sin phi. Similar way we have done in electrostatic also. Here one component we are taking, and if we are integrating, automatically the second component was also including. So here this point you has to be carefully understand that we will only integrate one of the component, because integration is for all the elements. So now dB is known to you, sine phi. So first of all, let me calculate this sine phi as in triangle OCP. Sine phi will be perpendicular upon hypotenuse, that is A upon R. Till now we have not used the value of R. We will use it at the last step. So now put the value of magnetic field dB. What was it? It is mu naught I 4 pi R square. R square I have used. Okay, fine. This will be R square. Okay. Then dl into sine phi is A upon R. Right. So now mu naught I A upon 4 pi R cube, mu naught I A upon 4 pi R cube, and integration for dl. So now when I will just use as for the complete length of circular loop, what is its total length? This is the perimeter, 2 pi A. So I can write it as mu naught 2 pi A square into I upon 4 pi. Now take the value of R here, R square. This will be as R is equal to x square plus A square to the power 1 by 2, and as its power is 3, so it is 3 by 2. R is under root of x square plus A square. Under root is replaced by 1 by 2 power, and it is cube is there, so it will be 3 by 2. Right? Now, this is the results here, whereas the loop consisting of only single turn. But if the loop has n turns, so how can we just generalize the result? This will be mu naught upon 4 pi, then 2n pi A square into I upon x square plus A square to power 3 by 2. And what will be the total direction? Because the sine component was along x-axis, so this direction will be along OX or PX. Anything you can take. O and P are lying on the same axis. So you have to learn this result. How you will learn this result? See, mu naught upon 4 pi is a factor you will take as such. 2 into n is the number of turns into area of single loop multiplied by the current flowing through it, divide by distance R cube. So you have to learn this result also. Always write all these results at a single page where you can collect all the formulas, where easily you can learn the formulas. Paste the paper on your wall, learn all the formulas one by one, so that this will be fixed in your mind, and you will be easily habitual of these formulas in using the numericals. So this is how we have to find magnetic field at the center of circular coil carrying current. Now let me discuss some of the special cases. So special cases, let me discuss. So what are the special cases? See, we have taken, this is a loop and point P is lying here, distance x from the center. Now what is the first special case? When the point P is lying at the center of the circular loop. So if this point is lying at the center, yes, in this way you will reach to the conclusion which we have already obtained. Yes, before it, what derivation we have done. So if P is taken at O, it means x is 0. X is 0, so substitute x 0 in this result. What will be the magnetic field? Mu naught upon 4 pi 2n pi A square I upon x is 0, so it is A cube. So it comes out to be mu naught upon 4 pi I n. This is 2 pi n divided by A. Or you can further simplify it as mu naught I n upon 2A. Yes, this is the same result which we have obtained at the center of circular loop when we have obtained magnetic field. So it means this is nothing but a special case of this particular derivation. You will get the same conclusion. So it means at the center of the circular coil it is having maximum value. But if we take x to be infinity, if we take this x point to be at infinite distance, so large distance, so here as per this result, if in the denominator x is taken to be infinity and whatever is the value of a, it will be very small, so you can take it when it is infinity. So in denominator when it is infinity, b will approach to approximately negligibly small value, and hence if x is exactly infinity, then magnetic field will be 0. This is also an important conclusion. It will help you to understand its graphical representation. So when the point of measurement is at a very large infinite distance apart, at that point magnetic field will be almost 0. As x is very large, and if we take that x is large, it is very large as compared to a radius of circular loop. So point P is not very large, we are taking to be very large as compared to its radius. So here you will ignore a, and if x is greater, x square will be much greater than a square, so you will ignore this factor. So what will be the result? Mu naught upon 4 pi 2 pi n I a square upon, in the denominator it will be x cube, and you can take this pi a square. Either this is the complete result, but or in the simple way 2ni pi a square is the area of the loop, okay, x cube. This can be the result. Now you can write it as a is pi a square. See here, this result in itself it's complete, but one more point I will discuss it here, that m is equal to NIA. This NIA is replaced by one symbol m. What is m? This is very important. Like we have done electric dipole moment in electrostatic, here also we will introduce it later on, but here as a formula will be used here. This magnetic dipole moment and magnetic dipole moment of the loop, it is taken as number of turns multiplied by the current flowing through the area. So basically the SI unit of this magnetic dipole moment will be, m is unitless, ampere for the current, and for area it is meter. So meter square, not meter, meter square. So magnetic dipole moment, this was introduced from here, this is ampere meter square. Although this concept will be introduced in the later magnetism part of this same unit, so there we will discuss it in detail. Now see, as I have introduced the concept of magnetic dipole moment. See, electric dipole moment, what was this? As a dipole consists of equal and opposite charges separated by certain distance. So their product charge multiplied by separation distance was electric dipole moment. So how there is a concept of magnetic dipole moment introduced here? As we are talking about these loops, circular loops in which current is flowing. If I am taking, like this is a front view which is facing towards you. If I will take that, like I am rotating my pen tip, this is, you can identify this is clockwise or anti-clockwise. Clockwise. This is clockwise. But if I will keep it like this, right, and if I will take, this is clockwise, I will take it in the perpendicular plane of the paper, this is clockwise. On the opposite side it will appear in the anti-clockwise. On this side, on this right side, it is appearing to be in the clockwise. On this side it is in the clockwise, but I will observe it on the left side, then it is in the anti-clockwise direction. It means when it is in the clockwise direction on this side, it will develop one polarity of magnet, and on the other side this will develop another polarity of magnet. See, here this is a circular loop, this is carrying current. If on the top face it is having south pole, on the bottom face it will having north pole. How can we understand? Like see, this S, this is for south pole and this is for north pole. Basically till now we are understanding the concept of magnetic field around the current carrying loop, current carrying wire, but we have never thought about the point that when there is magnetic field around these loops, or when the current is flowing in this circular loop, correspondingly magnetic field will be produced. So whenever there is a concept of magnetic field, we usually talk about north and south pole, like any of the bar magnet. So when the current is flowing in this clockwise direction, so you can see this will have, like see, you can, how can you judge this? If S is a symbol for south pole, so now this is indicating as the south pole, indicating clockwise direction. It means where the current is in clockwise direction, that phase of the loop will have automatically south polarity, and the opposite phase where the north pole, where the anti-clockwise direction is there, that will develop north polarity. These are interrelated. When south pole is there, in that case current will be clockwise, or when clockwise current is there, there will be south pole, and vice versa for the case of north pole and anti-clockwise current. So basically this is helping you to development of south and north pole. So see here I have introduced magnetic dipole moment. It means when for a circular coil, if for this circular coil, if this top face has south polarity and the bottom face have north polarity, it means some magnetic dipole moment is developed in it. Now, as if we have obtained the magnitude of magnetic field at the axis, it is having this formula. So I have taken at the center of the loop, this is having maximum value. So if the loop is, if the point of measurement P is at a distance A from the center of the loop, so in that particular case, what will be the value of magnetic field? See, there can be possible different cases. So it all are the special cases which I am taking. So here instead of X, what you will use here? A. So put the value of this X to be A. So now just rearrange and solve it. This is mu naught. Here pi is cancelled. Again here 2 is cancelled. So it is mu naught upon 2. Then here is n I a square upon, this is your 2a square raised to the power 3 by 2. Further rearrange the terms. This is numerator remaining same, in the denominator 2 raised to the power 1, 2 raised to the power 3 by 2, it will be 2 raised to the power 5 by 2, and a raised to the power 3. Further here will be cancelling factor are present, so I will simply cancel it and the result comes out to be this one. So this is all under special cases. So now as per the result we have discussed, if we have to calculate magnetic field variation with X for the axial point, so as magnetic field is maximum at the center of circular coil when the X distance is 0, and it will have minimum value, that is 0, almost at infinity. Exactly the peak should be there. It should be like this. Peak should be there. Yes. It should not be flattened, just at the peak point will be obtained at the top. So here, so as X is taken to be infinite large, almost it will approach to 0 value. On both sides it will either have both the positive values or having the negative value. So now on this basis, let me discuss few of the numericals that is taken as different subcases. Now if two coils are inclined at perpendicular to each other like this, having common center. So if we have to find magnetic field at the common center of two coils inclined at an angle of 90 degree, having the common center. Now what should be given here? Here current should be given to us. So let me take here current is I1. It is in this direction, that is anti-clockwise, and for this second loop, this is I2. This is loop 1, this is loop 2. So if I will take that magnetic field at the center of circular coil, it is taken. So what will I do? There can be possibility, one more thing, it should be that the radius of the loops are not mentioned. Let me take, they have the common radius. Radius can be different, radius can be same. Let me take the different radii first. So magnetic field at the center of loop 1, I will represent it by 1. What is the formula of magnetic field? That is mu naught I1 upon 2 R1. As there is no concept of number of turns have been given, but if number of turns has to be specified, then you will multiply by the number of turns. So for this loop, current is along this direction, thumb is pointing upward, so magnetic field is upward. So for this loop, magnetic field I can represent it along this direction, upward. Why? Because this you can see, curl the fingers, thumb is pointing upward. For this loop, second loop, here current is along this direction. Actually the loop is shown here, but this is like this. This is perpendicular to the horizontal loop, in the loop in the horizontal plane. So when the current is along this direction, thumb is along this this right side. So I will take the direction of magnetic field will be along this side. And what will be the magnitude? This is mu naught I2 upon 2 R2, and this is towards right side. So it means one magnetic field, another magnetic field B2. So now what is a net magnetic field? So net magnetic field can be obtained as these two are mutually perpendicular to each other. So net magnetic field will be given by under root of B1 square plus B2 square plus 2B1 B2 cos 90 0, so that will not contribute. So here if you will substitute the values, you will get the answer. So as current and radii are different, so in this particular case mu naught upon 2 I1 R1 plus mu naught upon 2 I2 R2, its square you will take and simplify, you will get the answer. But in the same case, if currents are given to be identical, radii are given to be identical, then in that particular case B1 equal to B2, this was given by mu naught I upon 2R. So net magnetic field will be, you will take it as B under root of B1 square plus B2 square. So if both the values are identical, let me represent this by B, and the resultant is represented by B dash. So this is only symbolic representation. This is helping you to just simplify the results. So you are taking it as under root of 2B. Now under root 2B is mu naught I upon 2R, and obviously direction is inclined to this direction. If you have to find the direction also, so tangent theta, you can take, this will be equal to B1 upon B2. If the magnitudes are identical, then in that particular case angle will be 45 degree. So see, as per the requirement, what has been asked, as magnetic field at the center of two circular coils inclined at 90 degree, it has been given, so you have calculated in this way. But if angle at which the two coils are inclined, it is not 90 degree, it is other than it, it can be possible. So how can you find? Like these two coils are there, here the two coils are inclined, let the angle between their planes is theta degree. So in that particular case you can take magnetic field. So if this is the current along this direction, this is the current along this direction, so basically in the angle between their magnetic field will also be same as the angle between their planes. So now we can obtain the resultant magnetic field by taking that angle, simply as we have done earlier. So in the initial case, angle was given to be pi by 2, so there was no need to introduce this factor, this was 0. But if angle is other than 90 degree, you can simplify it by this result. Now next case, if we are taking next numerical, you can say that if we have to find magnetic field at the common center of the two circular coils having radii r1 and r2, having number of turns this time have been given n1, n2, common center. So find magnetic field at the center and when the current is in the same direction, it has been given. We are taking the current is given to be in the same direction. So again, as you can see now for this loop, if we will write direction, magnitude of magnetic field, this is mu naught n1 I. Yes, we are taking same current for both the loops. Mu naught n1 I upon 2 r1. This is the magnitude, but we have also to include its direction. So apply the rule. Here you can see this current is in this anti-clockwise direction. So thumb is pointing outward. For this inner loop, magnetic field is directed upward or outward. Both way you can say. Similarly, magnetic field for this second loop, as I will explain its direction first. So as current is again in the same direction, so thumb is pointing upward. So you can take magnetic field is mu naught. This is n2 I upon 2r2. Obviously, you will take direction to be outward or upward. So it means magnetic field pointing both in outward direction. So what will be the net result? These two will add because they are in the same direction. So here mu naught I upon 2 n1 upon r1 plus n2 upon r2, and this is in the outward direction. Now let me take one more case. As if we have same two rings carrying current I, but direction of current is reversed in both the cases. All the parameters are given to be same. Find magnetic field at the center of the two coils having common center carrying current in the opposite direction. So here magnetic field due to inner loop, it will be mu naught n1 I upon 2r1. Now see, from the previous case, here the direction was anti-clockwise, here it is clockwise. So you can learn the result directly, you can write from there, or you can apply the result. As current is in the clockwise, so thumb is pointing towards the paper, so it will be inward. B1 is inward. And B2, this is the same case, it will be direction will be, so it will be for the inner loop it is inward, and for the outer loop thumb is pointing outward. So here magnetic field for this outer loop having the magnitude and mu naught n2 I upon 2r2, and direction is outward. Now to find net magnetic field out of B1 and B2, which is greater? See, as R2 is greater than R1 and magnetic field is inversely proportional to distance, so more will be the distance, less will be the magnetic field. It means you can say that B1 magnitude is greater than B2. So net magnetic field will be in the direction of B1. So here substitute the values mu naught n1 I upon 2r1 minus mu naught n2 I upon 2r2. This is mu naught I upon 2 n1 r1 minus n2 r2, and direction of B1 is inward. So net result will be, net magnetic field will be directed inward. So that is all for today. Today we have discussed different kind of cases related to the derivation, and these cases, these numericals are quite important. So slight changes in the statement will lead to different conclusions. So in these questions, if r and n, number of turns and radii, are identical, so in this part, if n1 upon r1 is equal to n2 upon r2, why? When the number of turns become identical and radii cannot be identical, because if the radius will be identical, then it will be just the same centric, common centric, same radii. So results will be modified. So just practice all these kind of questions. We have to cover more numerical on the basis of topics covered. So till then, practice all these, revise it carefully. Thank you. Have a nice day.